the scene that stands out to me the most as both, this is a really strange moment of characterization and it's a very strange moment of inflected performance, is the moments with the sirens. When he's like, put wax in all the men's ears. I'm going to tie myself to the mast. This is going to be fucking sick. And it's like, what are you doing? Why would you do this? And I know I have the same problem that you were saying before, Frank, where I'm like, this is in the original. I don't think they found a way to make it work. This does not track with anything I know of Odysseus up to this moment that he's like, I'm going to give this a crack. This is going to be really interesting. I'm like,
because he's like, I'm the guy. I am him. And it's like, yeah, you are. And yet I struggle with that scene because his performance and what he was experiencing was so visceral and alive and awful. Like, curl your toes, kind of, oh, fuck, just get through this. But the dialogue was so stupid. Greetings, pals.
Greetings, pals.
Greetings, pals.
Hey, welcome to the podcast Throwing the Power. My name is Frank.
My name is Marcus.
yes, and my name is Tom.
Fantastic. And this is the podcast Throwing the Power. As I said, love it or hate it, we debate it. It being...
The Odyssey.
The Odyssey.
Movies.
Oh, movies.
Of which the Odyssey is one. So we were right.
You could say it's one and it's one and a
As
half
part
or
of
two.
as part of yes ending, I should have listened to what you were saying. It's listen and react, listen and react. And
Yeah.
I just wasn't
That's okay.
listening.
All
I'm
in
the
good
only
time.
one who's successfully yes-anded so far. I just want to point that out.
You said
Yes.
the Odyssey as well.
Yes, but I said yes and then my name. So
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I took the note. I took the note. Sorry.
And you hit the note. And you hit the note really
I hit
nicely.
it real good.
So on this podcast, we rate films out of 11.
Yes, we do.
Why? Why in the world would we do that?
I'd say it's the number of times that Zeus's law is invoked in this movie. If you divide it by 11, like Jesus Christ,
So it's
do
121.
they say Zeus's law a lot in this film?
They
That's,
do.
One of your better ones, Tom. That was good.
I appreciate
quick,
that. Thank you.
succinct.
It was once I heard it for the 11th time, I was like, "This has to be it, right? There's
This
not
must be
else."
the one.
But Zeus's law just kept.
So just-
coming.
But
Just
no one
explain
cares.
to me.
No
I
one
don't wanna-
cares except...
I don't want to delve into this too deep, but Zeus's law, just to be crystal clear, it's basically just be kind to others and accommodate others, and
It's
that's
the
all I
same
really
as
got from that.
It kind of gets into the whole thing that so much of like Judeo-Christian values are rooted in Greek mythology and narratives that predate it, because it's just kind of like, yeah, turn the other cheek, do unto others as you would have done unto you. But it's also kind of squatters' rights, where like even if you're in the house, they get to just come and live there, kind of.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
hospitality at your expense.
Yeah.
It's like, be incredibly generous and warm and giving, but, you know, if you die, that's okay.
Yes, but you just imagine like a bunch of 20-year-olds finding like an unoccupied flat in Brooklyn, and then when the person comes over, they're just like, "Hey, Zeus's law, you gotta let us stay here." You know? You haven't heard of Zeus's
Hey,
law?
Zeus.
Like,
Hey,
yeah.
big Zeus. You know, the shop down the road.
Well, if you haven't caught on
um,
yet, we're doing the Odyssey, right?
The Odyssey.
The Odyssey 2026, directed by, I was about to say Channing Tatum. What's his name? Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, but a very easy mistake and a common one.
Sir Channing Tatum.
Sir Channing Tatum, Christopher Nolan, still waiting on that note.
He'll get there. Maybe after this, we're not sure.
Yeah.
Shout your name if you like this movie.
Tom.
Marcus.
Frank.
Was a
But
concern.
let me say one thing. I hated the first 90 minutes.
The
and
first
I was like,
90 minutes.
yeah, I was like,
90s?
oh, bored. Hated
Long.
it. Did not think the fantasy elements were landing for Nolan. I was like, I hate the world we're in. I hate the stupid characters. I hate that Odysseus is referred to as the smartest man alive, and yet he buries. No, doesn't matter. We'll get into it later.
We're jumping
At what-
ahead,
at
but I
what
want to
I found it.
Oh, sorry, Mark.
At what point did I get like, oh, maybe I do like this?
Well,
It's
no,
when
at
the
what
story
point
starts.
did the Cyclops turn up? Roughly, do you
I
think?
would say 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah, 50 minutes. I didn't like him, and I hated his noises. Big, ugly idiot. That was rough. I just found it really like... it's frustrating to a point. Like, every island is a Pirates of the Caribbean island, and you're like,
They're
uh-oh.
running away.
Running away. And it's like,
Which is like
man,
Holy
like,
Grail as well.
It's literally Holy
essentially.
Grail. So it's a bit silly, but it's like, just stop landing on these fucking stupid islands, or like proceed with any sort of caution. The smartest man everyone seems to know, and he's just like roaming into this cave.
Yeah.
We're jumping
Like-
ahead a little bit. Like, I will
Sorry.
say just some of the things you said. I do share some of your grievances with this movie, but I'm also kind of we'll get into it, but there's part of me that's like, you kind of have to allow for some of this in a very foundational way.
1,000% have to allow for it if that's the source material.
Yes, but I'm not saying the source material is sacrosanct and you can't change it, but there are certain aspects of it where my biggest grievance coming out of this was there were moments in it where I'm like, well, why the fuck is he doing that? Hasn't he heard of the Odyssey? And I'm like, of course he hasn't. He's in the Odyssey, so he doesn't know what's going to happen next. But I do.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of the conundrum that the movie has to deal with.
Here's the thing. I share it with you, Frank, in saying that the first, let's now say arguably 45 minutes, I wasn't really invested yet.
Sure.
And it wasn't until the Cyclops and all of the events that preceded that I was... Succeeded.
Procession. Wait.
Procession.
What's the show?
Everything following the point of the Cyclops, I was fully invested in, and that's the movie I wanted to see from the get-go. I was concerned that Nolan had gone for the far too grounded and realistic approach to the Odyssey here, and I was like, oh god, it's going to be like 3 hours of Anne Hathawaying.
And Hathaway to do it. Hold on, I'm just throwing my camera.
That's okay.
That's great.
Should we do our scores?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Let's give some numbers. I might start. I'm thinking I'm going to be. It's like a 7 at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Sure. Marcus?
No, you go next, Tom.
Yeah. Well, I'm worried now because this is going to be one of those times where I'm like, I'm an 8.8, and I thought I was coming in here low compared to what I thought you guys were going to be.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Curious.
Marcus
is farting.
I'm a 9.5.
Okay. I really was like, I figure you guys are going to be higher. Because even that feels underwhelming to come out of the latest Christopher Nolan film that everyone's like, we all agree, greatest film of the last 10 years, a spectacular endeavor in filmmaking and sweeping epic and scale. And I was kind of like, it was really, really good. I really liked it.
Can I
taken with
say,
it. Yeah.
I kind of think it's better than Oppenheimer.
I'm not quite there, but I don't think it's leagues ahead of it. I really, really liked Oppenheimer.
I don't think it's leagues ahead, but gun to head, if you asked me to walk back into cinema and watch one of those two films again for 3 hours, I'm absolutely watching The Odyssey.
Yeah, I still think I'd pick Oppenheimer, but it's a bit unfair because I actually haven't seen it in cinemas, so it would be nice to see it again after so long. But I did enjoy it.
I think I have more affinity for the story of Oppenheimer, and I find it more interesting. I find The Odyssey a bit maybe overdone. You know,
do
it's
either
the
of you
most
get
common
into
story in the world, but
the historical epics? Do you get a kick out of them, or do you enjoy?
Oh yeah, fantasy and everything.
Mythological sort of history.
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's Hercules is one of my favorite films.
Thank you. Took the words right out of my mouth, Frank. Legitimately not a bad movie. Actually,
Ian McShane trying to get hit by the arrows.
Ready for death. And, he's so good in that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm a 9.5. Tom, you're sitting around 8 point something.
8.8.
Frank, you're down in the 7s. So we're sitting in the upper spectrum of what is a Christopher Nolan epic.
Mm-hmm. I heard a few sort of critiques. Sorry, just to jump in there, but people, Elon Musk has trashed this film for being woke, and I just find that just not. And we spoke of this just as we started recording, the accents, the casting, no one being Greek. All different ethnicities, all different American accents. Robert Pattinson doing the weirdest weasel of an American man you've ever seen.
But that's just his bit now. That's just what he does.
I know.
Anyone who's seen The Drama or fucking what's that one? Good Time. His whole thing is just scuzzy guy who's
But even his Batman's a bit scuzzy. It's I'm vengeance.
He has more gravitas as that. You feel a sort of center to him. Whereas
he doesn't grab much ass. But I agree. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Good.
He does in this though. Bit of a perv, bit of a coward.
Yeah. One of the funniest things in the movie.
Do we need to do a quick synopsis?
Okay.
Who hasn't heard of the Odyssey?
Yeah.
Read a fucking book.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care for The Simpsons, so I don't know what this is all about or where it came from.
Okay,
Come on, honestly.
Don't give him that.
No. Where's Marge's Odyssey? That's what I want to know.
It's over here. No, that's not right.
Homie,
I didn't
I'm not
wasn't
sure
allowed to
about
watch-
your Odyssey. Yeah,
I
so
wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons
No,
growing
go
up.
on.
Okay,
We've gotta stop
the
this.
Odyssey's an ancient Greek poem written by Homer Simpson, and it follows Odysseus, the king of Ithaca. Basically, he goes and wins the Trojan War. He does the Troy horse situation. That's his idea. And then
Troy horse.
he sails around for 10 years. No, sorry. So sits on the beach at Troy for 10 years. Just
10 years on this fucking beach. You're like, whoa.
Frank, it seems like
Well-
you're okay. No, we'll get through the synopsis first because
So yeah, 10 years on the beach, and then 10 years of fucking sailing around, and every one of his men is just dying and getting picked off by Cyclopses, giant silver men in bad suits. The sirens, only one of them dies to the sirens. It's like, come on, man. You guys are meant to be skeezy people. And then the witch lady who turns them all into pigs.
Samantha Morton, killing it.
Amazing.
Sure.
Honestly, put her in for Best Supporting Actress consideration.
Samantha Morton, here's a moo.
What's going on today?
What? Like some of my best stuff.
Marcus was suggesting yes-anding before this episode, and even he just put his head in his hands. And it was like, I don't know what to do with that.
Dr. Moose. Okay, so she turns them all into... Thank you, there we go. Turns them all into pigs, and then eventually everyone dies in the whirlpool rock monster situation. And then he gets lost on the beach with Athena. This is Odysseus still gets lost on the beach with Athena. She drugs him for another 7 years
Not
with
Athena,
the flower.
it's Calypso.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Francis.
Sorry,
I did ask for a synopsis, not your cynical fucking take on the film.
You are editorializing a little bit here and there. And then this fucking happens. This bullshit.
And I know it's normally like language, but I found it frustrating to a point. But then what happens? I don't know. He finds his.
He's bitching so much for someone that gave it a 7 something.
Here you are. He spends a long time on the beach with Calypso, eating lotuses. He goes home. He reclaims the throne after he's been gone for so long. Penelope's had to put up with all his suitors. Yeah,
He sees John Leguizamo. What's his name?
John Leguizamo.
Leguizamo. Thank you. Leguizamo is always what I want to say. It's not right.
It's not quite right, no.
It's not right. It's not wrong either.
Nah, it's close. Anyway, then that's when I turned around when he started coming back and things started going his way. I was like, "Fucking
That's actually
finally!"
pretty much that's not 90 minutes. That's like 2 hours into the movie. You're talking about the last 40 minutes is pretty much when you got on board.
You're
Yeah, that
like,
might be
wait,
about right.
so when Odysseus gets back home, back to Ithaca, is when you finally sort of checked in.
Pretty much.
I
was
would
like,
that's
agree that I think that's
crazy.
I think
But
that's
that's when
the
it started
strongest part
paying
of the
off.
movie.
It
That
started
is the
paying
part of
off,
the
and you
movie
were
where I
like-
started going like, oh, this is actually dynamite. I'm really into. Whereas I was pretty into the stuff before that, but not always. The return
I
home
liked
is
the
really
elusiveness of the build up to what they were getting to. I think the final act is very strong. It's very tense.
Yeah.
I love that continual build. By the way, the sound design in this I think is phenomenal,
Amen.
and a lot of people hate it.
It's great. It's still
sound versus music. Sound, good music. I was like,
I think the music's okay. I think
But I'm glad the
Music,
I'm
I
glad the
like
music.
the build of music. I like that it does increase in pace throughout.
Yeah, there's
the film
one
to
one
create
piece
that
in the
tension.
score it's a drumming situation. It's like ra da and just increases in tempo, and it feels like a piece of music that never stops increasing in tempo. Like the BPM goes up. That was amazing. That's very well done. Love that piece of music.
Am I right in saying that comes in during the Island of the Giants?
Nah, maybe, but I noticed it during the Trojan horse section. So when he first pops out of the horse, and then they take the city of Troy. That whole section.
An
of
absolutely
course.
incredible set piece. Like, I have so many moments in this movie that I did find legitimately breathtaking. I was very lucky. I'm not going to say this is like I live a blessed life or whatever the fuck, but I watched it in the only cinema in the Southern Hemisphere that shows it in 70mm and the correct ratio. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time at the IMAX.
Can you say it with your hand off your cock?
Sorry, I'll take both hands out.
IMAX for climax.
There we go. And I...
Wait,
From
hold on.
climax to climax.
Yes, and
No,
That's
don't
good.
coin it.
That's pretty good.
But
that's Tom's
in-
like biography.
I was essentially sitting... I was sitting at the screen. Like, I was so close. I was in the front row. And I just had to, like, lean back and absorb it. But it was incredible. The sound design was fantastic. And there were some breathtaking
Did your
moments.
seat rumble? Did your seat go...
It did without it being the 40X option. It kind of just did it anyway. Like, it felt like it just carried through. It was that Dune experience of the music in Dune that get so percussive that you just start rattling in your
I
bones.
didn't experience that for my Dune watch.
No, really,
My 240p stream did not translate.
But at least he won roulette. At least he won roulette.
That's it.
Yeah,
he got
cash
that shit
money.
going. Yeah.
So let's unpack this, because obviously it goes through 3 major acts. You've got a stacked cast of people, which I personally think, for a film that I adored, I love this movie, was not the strongest cast across the ensemble necessarily. Some people very strong, some people definitely standing out as a little
I think
weaker.
let's jump in. Let's jump in right there. Who was bad?
To me,
Name him. Shame him.
I don't know if it's more of a miscast or there could have been maybe a better swap here, but I think that Anne Hathaway at times took me out of the film. I know I've got my bias with her. I was, during the first half of the film, Anne Hathaway did something that shocked me, whereas I literally turned to Nick and I said, she's really good in this. Mm-hmm. Really good in this. And he goes, oh, isn't she always? And I said, no, in my head, no. But what she did, she brought a real age to the performance and a real grounding. And
Despite the lack of wrinkles.
Despite the lack
she
of
had
wrinkles.
a little bit
but
of
there's
that
something,
in the present day scenes. But
like
not much.
vocally, I think she carried the performance very strong. And there's that particular scene with her and Tom Holland, mother and son, out on the balcony, and he's talking before he's left to go find his father. Mm-hmm. All of that, and talking about how she's there doing her civic duty and she can't remarry and all of this, really strong piece. But then later in the film, we get like another scene with the two of them where he says to her, you need to marry. And she does this almost modernistic sort of response where it felt very juvenile and very like, oh, that'd be right. You just want a man to sit on the throne. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I remember this scene, and I think while I clocked that with her, I found that in a lot of the movie, that there were people who were trading off between lofty pronouncements of like grand, epic sort of cinema, and then people who were just kind of going like, yeah, ba-ba-da-ba-da. And I was like, well, that was a really modern way of delivering that.
Like John Bernthal at the dinner.
John Bernthal, I was actually very compelled by in this movie.
I think John Bernthal kind of played into the loftiness and was playing it up. Matt Damon, I think, was really low in terms of like a naturalistic, normal, everyman in our era performance.
But like, I do think Matt Damon is kind of playing it as, I'm not going to do the fucking Charlton Heston. I'm going to do guy. I'm going to do guy in a modern action saga who's trying to get home. Like
you have to assume that's Nolan's direction, because most people are playing it in that vein.
I think
most people play it modern,
and he's playing it the times when you catch him being Odysseus the most, where he's taking on sort of the baggage of it. His scenes with Calypso, when he's just addled by the lotuses, the loti. And the scenes where he gets back and he's playing a beggar and he's doing the very, just a mystical figure from another land. Like, okay, he's very
sick.
Really good stuff. But the scene that stands out to me the most as both, this is a really strange moment of characterization and it's a very strange moment of inflected performance, is the moments with the sirens. When he's like, put wax in all the men's ears. I'm going to tie myself to the mast. This is going to be fucking sick. And it's like, what are you doing? Why would you do this? And I know I have the same problem that you were saying before, Frank, where I'm like, this is in the original. I don't think they found a way to make it work. This does not track with anything I know of Odysseus up to this moment, that he's like, I'm going to give this a crack. This is going to be really interesting. I'm like,
because he's like, I'm the guy. I am him. And it's like, yeah, you are. And yet I struggle with that scene because his performance and what he was experiencing was so visceral and alive and awful. Like, curl your toes, kind of, oh, fuck, just get through this. But the dialogue was so stupid. It was like, it's everything you wish you wanted, and then it's everything you can't have.
It's just poetic antithesis. It's the world you know and the world you can never, be part of.
I would
it's the
agree.
light and the dark.
And you're like,
I would agree that Damon, up until that point, had been playing almost the reluctant hero of a song.
Of course.
And so for him to, as you say, go, this is me, I'm him, this moment, this like main character energy that he brought to that particular scene, it was very jarring, and I completely agree.
Yeah, even he
Where
did, he
he's
did
like,
it a couple
yeah,
of
guys,
times.
none of you are strong enough to handle this, but I can. Tie me to the pole, tie me
Yeah.
to the mast. I've got
Yeah.
this. No matter what happens, don't untie me, but I'm a badass. I'll be able to take it.
Like as a character moment, it was stupid. As an actor's moment, it was fantastic. So it's like,
I found the zoom and the screaming performative in a way that it didn't take me out of it, but I was just like, yeah, he's giving it his all here. But I was I guess it did, because I started thinking about the fact that Damon was acting, and I was like, wow, he's really screaming here. Matt Damon's really screaming. But I wasn't thinking Odysseus
probably-
is going through this.
that's probably not great for a film. It's meant to carry you away.
But I didn't think
Oh,
much.
Matt Damon's really screaming.
Matt Damon's really screaming, huh?
But also, when does he do that? Like, it's not often we see that version of Matt Damon ever. So
Team America.
Eurotrip, he does
a rock scream.
which is what my haircut is based on. His character from Eurotrip. I know
Yeah,
everyone thinks I'm John Bernthal but I actually just
For the listener, Tom shaved his head and he looks
I not at all like John Bernthal,
Good.
but I'd shaved it literally the day before going to the Odyssey.
criminalistic? Is that a word?
I looked,
Criminalistic?
criminal.
I studied that in high school.
Criminology. I was sitting next to people in the IMAX, and I swear John Bernthal came on screen, and I felt the guy next to me just kind of go like look at me for a second, look back at the screen, but not as if to be like, oh my god, he looks like John Bernthal, as if to be like, did you do this on purpose? Like, did you shave your head to look like John Bernthal? It's not
And it
working.
had nothing. It had nothing to do with your whole like I climax at IMAX thing.
No, weirdly no. When so much of my life does have to do with that. That one wasn't.
Tom Holland, what were our thoughts on him? Because I thought this is one of the better performances I've seen him do.
Maybe his best.
loved him. And again, it took me a while to warm. It took me a while to warm to everything and everyone in this, except for kind of Anne Hathaway, strangely, and John.
Do you feel the same about Anne Hathaway?
No, I liked her the whole way through and thought she was magnificent. Same as like when I watched her in Les Mis, I was like, that's the best thing she's ever done.
Okay.
Yeah. It might shock you to find that is a polarizing performance.
Yeah,
I did have moments where I was watching Anne and thinking, gee, she's come a long way. Like, she's had such an incredible career and she's getting better as she ages.
I'm glad her face, like obviously the criticism around Devil Wears Prada 2 and like there's no acting allowed because I'm a porcelain doll. This didn't have that to that degree. Like she still could emote really well. And vocally, I think it was a really varied and dramatic performance in like a really nice... powerful kind of way. Loved it. Tom Holland was great. Tom Holland was awesome. I liked that he couldn't fight, even though it was confusing me because I'm like, Spider-Man knows how to fight. So like, how
you're
how
watching
is
the
he?
wrong lens.
No, I know,
Wrong
but
lens.
like in my mind, I'm like, this is like. Plus, he's been training with.
Just to be clear,
Mentor.
did write the Odyssey and then he went on to write Spider-Man right after. So there is some connection.
It's
between them.
crossover,
I believe
of
Peter
course,
Parker
of course.
does appear in the Trojan
Yes.
Wars. But yes.
He's the first guy to pull it off the beach with his web.
Yes.
It's Homer's Spider-Man Long Way Home, I think.
There we go.
how it's known.
Hey,
That's
that's probably
good.
the same story.
Yeah.
Homer's Long Way Home.
Anyway, I found that confusing that he was such a baby, but I was also like, but is he? He's a man, but he will never look like a man.
No,
because
I
Tom
kind of
Holland
appreciated that it was a good. I like it cinematically where you don't have the sun just very obviously rising to the occasion to be the new king and
Yeah.
and it still didn't like and also on top of
Because
that to match that energy you've got all this build up with Rob Pat whom his performance I loved personally.
I thought he was really good.
He might be best on ground. We'll talk about it.
Truly, but Rob Pat gets to the end of the film. The fight it's just going nuts in this room, and he's screaming from behind a pole whenever weapons drop in.
This is what
Sorry,
I was...
this
what I
must
was-
have-
Sorry, you go first, Frank.
But I was going to say, was his scene a reshoot? Because it's just him in frame screaming off, "Get the spear! Get the spear!"
Yes,
It
I just...
feels
and he,
like
like-
it.
I was gonna
No one
say,
else is there.
Frank, when you brought his performance up, one of the most I laughed in the movie was every time I cut back to him and I just imagined Nolan being like, more pussy, more cowardly. And it's just like, someone do something! Like, he's just so frightened the whole time.
He is
It's very,
very
funny.
funny.
He's such a little grot in this, and I think he serves it well. I mean, the people that stood out to me. The people who distracted me in the film were the people who had such a small role and so little to do with it. I just kind of wondered why they bothered. I'm not really sure.
Well, let's be delicate here because I've got 2 points I'd love to touch on with that exactly.
Yeah.
And one is, of course, Elliot Page. and
Sure.
2 is the complete misuse of Zendaya, in my opinion.
Oh, I could not disagree more on that second
Ooh.
point. So that's going to be interesting.
Well, I think to quickly just to preface all this, like the cast is enormous. Like even in the secondary players, you've got Mia Goth, Benny Safdie, Himesh Patel, Charlize Theron, John Bernthal's there, as we've said. Logan Marshall Green as like the
Very distracting that
oafish
Logan
kinda
Marshall Green
slave
is
guy.
the guy who's just trying to stomp into the floor and throw spears down. Like, I'm just, every time he popped up, I was like, so Logan Marshall Green's in this, huh? Like, that was just very strange to me.
But it's like
his performance wasn't very strong. I think he was trying to keep up with the big dogs, and it didn't feel.
It just felt like
as authentic.
He must have ended up on the cutting room floor because he's an over, like...
there's something to it. Like there's obviously a characterization there that we don't really get to understand.
he's just a goon,
No.
like, essentially. That's all he is, and he has such little to do. I feel the same way about Mia Goth. I just kind of every 40 minutes Mia Goth had a line, and I was like, I don't love Mia Goth, and it's just distracting that she's in this.
Yeah.
Charlize Theron, I felt the same way about. I don't love that stuff with Calypso. I think
that's my least favorite.
I think
and
it's
I was
very
like,
jagged.
this is when I got tired.
Yes, I found that very tiresome, and so I was kind of like, it's cool Charlize Theron is in this. She looks incredible, and if you're gonna cast a woman as a goddess, there you go. But I did still find it a little naff. While Benny Safdie is incredible in this film, in my opinion.
He does.
Yes, but what does he
nothing.
do?
He is
It's fine.
big! He's
Yeah.
so big! When they open the doors at Troy and he's standing there, I almost screamed. He's so big! I didn't know it was
That's
Benny
not
Safdie
him.
until
That's a
I-
body double. Like
No,
that's
but still, just the figure
It's
of
completely
acting.
reminiscent of that scene in Rogue One where Darth Vader appears in that doorway, and all the
yeah.
comparisons there with Darth Vader. The presence that this guy had, you didn't need the backstory of Agamemnon at all. It's
Agreed.
just there. You just believe with what you see,
Yes.
and that's enough.
Yeah.
That's the myth. The
I
man,
think
the
it's
legend.
one of the most effective in a movie that's about often big characters that I didn't always feel. I'm with you, Frank, that I was mixed on the Cyclops. I think there are creepy parts to it, but ultimately it wasn't that successful. I think it's a really weird pacing issue, maybe in the original, but also in this movie, that they go from Cyclops to, oh, another island. Oh, now there's more big people. It's just like, okay. But every time Agamemnon was on screen, I was just transfixed. I thought that was such
I don't
a
think
great
they bridged
costume choice.
the
He looked
islands
incredible.
and the monsters. I don't think they bridged them all too well. I think they just sort of crammed it into the middle of the film and got it out as quick as they could. To me,
It's mostly the least interesting stuff to me. Almost all the fantasy stuff when they get past the whirlpool and then just the giant tentacled rock monster takes some of them. I just didn't really care. Yeah, I'm with you, Frank. I was like, okay, sure.
the witch, as you said,
The witch
Morton,
is cool.
That's cool
I love
because
that
that's
shit.
you can see them eating, and it's like obviously maybe like I'd assumed it's playing in reverse the footage, and they're like we can't stop eating, and it's this weird. It's like sickening versus the big guys or the Cyclops or the rock monster. You're like, oh well, you can't win. It's just you have to try and hopefully get away if you can run fast enough. Like, there's no sort of mystique or mythology or magic around it. It's like, yes, that big thing's alive. Okay, cool. But like the actual magic of like the cursed food and stuff, and then becoming pigs, and it's like, oh fuck, they're trapped in those bodies now, and this is really uncomfortable and
The way
tense.
she molds them, the way she starts
But, like, she
grabbing
caresses-
their faces and shaping them, I was horrified. I thought that sequence was incredible.
I'm sure you've caught this already, and for the listener that hasn't found this out, but that was all practical effects.
Yeah. You can see it. You can see the way that they've clearly just got these massive plasticine fucking apparatus.
Yeah, it's like
just
clay.
all around.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
wild how good that looks.
It's incredible work. I personally loved the Cyclops scene. I loved the practical effects being used in there as well. I loved the
Just to clarify, it's a big puppet, so everyone knows that's a big puppet.
Bill
huge puppet.
Irwin is the one puppeteering, I believe.
But I liked the
Steve
the
Irwin?
tension.
No, what I said.
Who'd you say?
No, I said a different name to Steve, actually. Irwin's the same, but it's Bill Irwin, who's a famous, like, puppeteer and sort of...
Did he do Rocky from?
He didn't. That was someone Ortiz, I believe.
It was.
Yeah. Sorry,
Similar puppet,
Marcus.
I know.
Frank interrupted several times there. You were saying.
Yes,
it's okay.
and Marcus. Sorry, I got carried away.
No, I loved that was the first point in the film where I felt genuine tension. Although I can see how some of it was perceived as very silly. I do love the fact that they are using this, and part of the story, of course, but, the hay on the back so that they can crawl out of the cave and be perceived as sheep. The way that they sort of were trying to problem solve in real time as to how can we navigate this and how can we do this without losing more men. I really loved all of that because every time that rock closed, I could just feel that that awful sort of tension of being like, that could be the last time. That could have been the last time we could have got out.
Especially the moment where they almost kill him and they're like, hold on a second, what have we not thought about? Like, I did find that good. And I agree with you, Marcus. The great stuff is when you think of the genius of this thousands-year-old poem that he's like, well, how did they get out? They put hay on their backs because that made them seem like sheep. I'm like, that still works. That's a really cool idea.
It's like these are the classic mythology stories of like, well, you got to blind him and then you got to pretend to be sheep. It's like the Hydra, like, in Hercules when he kills the Hydra, he has to burn their heads as opposed to slicing. Like all these things are like it's all like riddles as opposed to like I'm strong and I'm an amazing fighter. It's all like smarts. Yeah. Which, as they said, Odysseus is the smartest man that everyone's ever met.
Which makes it more interesting. The Island of the Giants, to me, again, for the same reason, I just didn't enjoy as much because I felt they arrived and all too quickly it was panic and they're off the island and we got nothing out of it. It didn't benefit the film in any way.
Yeah.
There's no way for them to actually win, right? There's no like, hey, look at my tactician stuff. Like, there's no skill
stand on
there.
Each other's shoulders and put a coat on and
sure.
That's what I was waiting for.
Please. I think you're both right there so much that it's the one part of the movie that just feels like they encounter a weird thing and they have to get away from it. Even the sort of like tentacled rock monster thing that grabs at them. Okay, yeah, that only happens for a few seconds, and it was because
that just stops for no reason.
And it also because they went past the whirlpool, it matches up with the like prophecy. So I get that, but yeah, I would be shocked to meet anyone who says, "Oh, the island of big guys." Crazy. It's just like, no, that feels really incidental to me.
And this is the first bit that I was like, because I was at this point, I was like, okay. And the internet says that they got all right, 7-foot guys in the suits and then 5-foot guys in the Odysseus's legion costumes. I'm like, no, that's their children and they look like tiny little stupid kids. It's like they've done the Hobbit special effect really poorly, and when they're running back to the beach, there's just normal people running in big silver suits and then little children going with tiny little I was like, this doesn't look like, the proportions are wrong. This doesn't look good. I kind of wish they had invested.
It's interesting because I hadn't actually noticed that.
It took me out so
Did
bad.
it? Interesting. If I had seen that would have really bummed me out, but I hadn't noticed that. I think.
And that might be me just, it might have just been a really small guy who looked like a kid, but I still was like, well, they're just using children.
If you're not thrilled by it, you're looking at it through a more cynical lens, whether you can help it.
This is true.
And I did the same thing where I was like, I really can tell I'm meant to be thrilled by this, and I'm just a little like, go back to the boats, guys. Like, I'll be bad idea, right?
But then to then quickly counter that, they get in the boats and these big guys are just like in the water, rocking the boats back. And I was like, this is horrible.
I kind of
really
liked
felt
watching one of the boats get knocked over by the big guy. I was like, that would
terrifying.
be like, what do you do at that point? I did.
And Amesh Patel gets saved by Odysseus and he's like just getting drowned by that guy. Just like fully held under, and you're like, well, you got no chance. That feels horrible. That felt suffocating.
The best thing that Nolan does there, which great action filmmakers are always really good at, is little bits of visual storytelling between characters trading off saving lives. And I love that Matt Damon does that when he saves Patel, and then when we get the flashback to Troy, Patel saved him. And I really felt something there where I was like, that's just such a great little detail that I love when people put in. It's like, well, I owed him my life. He had saved me,
And also, I mean, not to jump ahead, but the reason Zendaya plays Athena, which gets revealed late in the film, you're like, oh no.
Marcus, you and I are going to have to get into that because that is my favorite.
I don't want to touch on it too heavily. I understand the use of Athena in the film as it is. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if we get enough out of, like, why the star power for that?
I think it only made sense in the final use of her. I'm with you that most of the movie I kept kind of being like, so Zendaya's just kind of ghost goddess, like she's just sort of there, kind of the way Dexter has ghost dad with him sometimes to tell him stuff. Like, I don't know about this. When it got to Odysseus telling Penelope the story of them sacking Troy, to start with, I love the Troy stuff so much. I think it's phenomenal filmmaking. And I cannot believe how good it is, especially the build-up you guys were talking about where they drag the horse in, where they stab it and one guy gets stabbed and they have to scrub the blood off before the sword gets pulled out. Like, all that shit is incredible. But and they open the gates, but when it shows the full flashback and we've seen this statue of Athena get beheaded so many times, and we finally get the context, and when Matt Damon and Zendaya hold hands and she's crying, and then it cuts to the shot of someone decapitating Zendaya, I lost it. I was like, that is the fucking best use of Nolan's weird spanned temporal storytelling, that he's had this device, he's had this ace up his sleeve the whole time, and then he's like, this is why Zendaya's in the movie. And I'm like, you fucking killed it, man. That was
that's the whole reason for Odysseus' change in tone and change in life. It's the whole linchpin of the...
I agree with the use, The device itself, to me, works really well. I just don't know. Here's the thing, too, and I did consider this, because I walked out having this conversation with Nick again, who I watched it with. He said, did you like Zendaya? And I said, yeah, I did. I think maybe, is it Zendaya fatigue maybe is starting to set in for me already, because I'm not seeing too much variance in what she brings to screen now. I'm not seeing a different version of her. And I'm just starting to think, are you starting to just be a Zendaya archetype in everything you do?
I generally agree with you. I don't really think Zendaya's worked out what her persona is. I think Tom Holland's the same. I think it's why it's kind of a remarkable film for both of them.
But then so is Matt Damon.
I don't agree with that. I think Matt Damon's got a huge sort of variety and versatility up his belt compared to them, because he's had so much longer, right? Like, he's the young Boston kid in Good Will Hunting, and then he's like...
It's the one thing he's different in. And then he goes into...
What are you talking about? Going from Good Will Hunting to fucking The Departed, about, like, Dogma. Going to The Informant, going to fucking The Martian, going to fucking Interstellar, where he's the secret bad guy. Like,
but he always... It has a similar level of energy and delivery.
Watch every one of those movies and go, Matt Damon.
But in the same way,
that is a ridiculous.
Not saying one thing, but there's a type.
There's definitely a type. I agree. There's a type.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying, man. Hey, chill out. I think I love Zendaya being there in the way that we have a connection to her. We know who she is, therefore there's more, and this is the crappy thing about celebrity, right? But there's more weight to her dying than, hey, that actress was good. What's her name? Have we seen her before?
If he got an unknown person for that, or he got someone who was a little lower down at the moment, and we were like, oh, it's Maud Apatow. Like, okay, like, no, I think you're right. It has to be Zendaya.
There's a special power that comes across with being Zendaya at this point.
Well, then why with and I want to be very, very careful about how I approach this topic. But Helen of Troy, to me, was an odd choice as well with casting. Although she had one moment that I think was genuinely sensational for the little amount that she got to do.
Yeah. But you're worried, did she have to be black, is the problem, right?
No, it's not even...
No, I'm kidding.
Please don't do that. It's nothing, nothing to do with race. Can I just be crystal clear?
Of course, of course.
But with Helen of Troy in particular, like, she has to be the most beautiful girl of all time at that period.
Yeah.
To me, they didn't justify to me why she was the one that had caused so much turmoil.
They didn't give the Helen storyline much weight. But I think for me, the reason, again, it's similar to the Zendaya thing. It's like, oh, it's Lupita, so it's like, oh, there's kind of a worthiness already. I think of like the career and the talent that we sort of project onto her, and also playing the twin sister, where she had to then freak out and kill, spoiler alert, Agamemnon. Yeah. Holy crap. Like, to be able to turn it on and to have that emotionality and that power, essentially instantly, because the audience has nothing from you at this point. Like, okay, you're just sitting there and you get mad and you got some scars and okay, you're sad.
It's a great moment. I would agree that even though I think her presence is justified by it being Lupita, who I think is just, one, stunning, and two, just has such a composure about her that makes me feel that presence. I do go like there seemed like there could have been more there to do with Helen. You know, we get like embarrassingly, if you want to see the Helen of Troy movie, go watch Troy, which is kind of a strange thing to say. But get more out of what's her name.
Diana Kruger.
Yeah, wow.
Diana
Right
Kruger?
off
Diana
the bat.
Kruger.
Well done, Frank. Yeah, yes.
Big fan of Troy. Let me tell you, big fan of Troy.
Look,
Brian Cox is Agamemnon.
I kind of want to rewatch it after this.
Yeah.
Is Brian Cox? Yeah, Brian Cox is Agamemnon, who's Brendan Gleeson plays his brother.
Wait, is it Brian Cox? I thought it was Rip Torn for some bizarre reason. Is it not?
No, but I believe that I believe that if you turn Brian Cox's head around, Rip Torn is on the other side.
Brendan Gleeson plays Menelaus.
Yes, correct. Who dies in Troy.
And Orlando Bloom is Paris. Eric Banner is Hector.
Correct.
Brad Pitt is Achilles.
Brad Pitt is the titular Troy.
He's Troy. He's Troy Bolton from High School Musical.
Look, I think that I agree.
And that is why no one will remember your name.
There are usages here and there that just don't feel worthwhile for that reason. I actually think Elliot Page is really well used, but it didn't occur to me until the visit to the world of
Hell.
Dead, the underworld.
Yeah.
Once Elliot Page came back there, I thought that was really effective. But I was initially a little like, well, I've heard Elliot Page is in this, and then he's dead in the first 20 seconds. So
and he's meant to be like the heart of the movie, and I was like, where?
Yes.
Yeah, and it didn't really work for me because like
It didn't work for me either.
I didn't really connect the through line of that little boy at the start who gets sort of stooged into going to war, then be growing up into Elliot. Like I didn't get the timeline.
The problem is because the kid they cast as Robert Pattinson might
exactly
actually be a clone of Robert Pattinson when he was 14. Like it's insane how good.
Whereas
that
young
casting was.
Sinon just wasn't the same as Elliot
Sinon,
Page.
of
It
course.
looks it looks like McLovin or no, but like it looks like a nerdy kid.
You
Whereas
think
Elliot
they should
Page
have gotten
kinda,
Christopher Mintz+A to play Sinon, and this it would have matched up better.
like no, absolutely not, because he'd be terrible. But like the casting wasn't right, so it took me ages to go. Oh, that's Elliot Page. That's the same kid. Oh, so I guess I was behind the eight ball.
I just think it's so effective as a way of making Robert Pattinson, because even though he's kind of the ultimate bad in the movie, like he is the villain, despite the fact that the movie continuously plays with the idea of what is a villain and what is a hero, because Menelaus is a fucking despicable man. And by the end of the movie, Tom Holland's like, all right, well, thanks for the food. I guess I'll see you later. He just leaves.
Thanks for hunting birds with me and the
Helen's
advice
like,
about my dad.
My husband is insane. And he's like, yeah, I gotta go. I'm sorry. Like, you gotta deal with this.
You'll be right.
Like,
You'll be fine.
I love John Bernthal in this. I think he's so good. But yeah, Elliot Page's stuff is great. I think the stuff in the underworld in hell is so good. That's when I really started. You didn't like that.
I thought it would be scarier. I kind of found it like, okay, Black Beast.
I think it's Nolan's dipping his toe into what ultimately could be a horror career.
You feel him doing it, right? He's talking about how fucking good Obsession is. You can feel he's done like the comic book movies. He's done the space movie. He's done the war movie. He's done the epic stuff. He's like, am I going to do a horror movie next? Like, it feels like he might be going there. I thought
Tenet was his horror movie.
Right, well, sure.
Got him.
They're rumouring Nolan, just an aside, they're rumouring Nolan to like, hey, now that you've done this, he could be looking at Dante's Peak as like a thing. Dante's Inferno, not Peak. Dante's Inferno. Sorry.
Okay, I don't know
the idea
which
is
him
which.
doing
It's a volcano movie.
Big prestige biopic. Odyssey, massive tale from antiquity, and then he's like, I don't know, what about a movie about like volcanoes, or what about a movie about people?
That would be very funny.
But imagine,
I did mean Dante's Inferno.
Yeah,
Nolan's disaster movie or Nolan's End of the World. Like that could be fun. He does a Roland Emmerich.
Go on. Give it a go.
I did see rom-com getting thrown around as well, which has been quite funny.
I think he's too embarrassed.
There are things he can do. There are things he can't, and I think.
Is it just me? It was the guy in hell that was on the ground during the ritual.
Skarsgård of some kind.
Skarsgård.
I don't know if it is, but it seemed like Skarsgård.
God, it looked like Stellan Skarsgård.
And kind of sounded and acted like him a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
There was a Skarsgård.
That was Hades, right? So let's have a look.
Yes.
That's good.
It's like a Scandinavian bald dude.
Yeah. Which it's kind of like you say that and Stellan Skarsgård just appears behind you in a mirror. It feels like it has to be him. I just think this takes me back to what I loved about Benny Safdie's performance and the choice to never show his face front on. So I just kept being like, they obviously, just like they did with fucking...
Marcellus Wallace.
300
Right.
Marcellus Wallace, but also in 300, you know that big dude who plays the head of the Persians?
The guy from Love
The
Actually.
guy from Love. I was just like, they must have just gotten a big model. And they were like, we're not going to show his face because it's going
Did
to
you say big? He's not big.
The guy from...
No, he's not big.
Are you talking about Safdie or the guy from...
The guy from 300.
But they make him look big in 300.
Yeah, he's like 12 foot tall.
Yeah. They give him like an aspect of sort of like height.
He
and
looks
stature.
like a CGI abbed like beanpole.
I mean, that's
He's
everyone.
really tall
Well,
and
except for
lean.
Beanpole, that's just 300. I think Lena Headey had there's like CGI abs in that movie. They just kind of had to do it as part of the contract. But I love Safdie in this.
Yeah.
I think that stuff's so good. I think Morton is so good. It just bummed me out that there was stuff in it that I kept kind of being like, well, yeah, I guess I expected this, and I wasn't as compelled by it. You know what? Really,
Okay, so
yeah.
Can you do quick fire? What would you, to have made this a better film, what would you have cut out of it?
Land of the Giants gone. No Giants.
Yes, I agree.
Just
Yeah,
absolutely out. I think I would have expanded on Menelaus and Helen and Tom Holland's character there because, again, it's one of those things where the problem is the source material. But if you lay Tom Holland's arc out in this movie, he goes, my father is gone and I need to go find him. I'm going to go visit Menelaus. Visits Menelaus. All right, I'll go home now. Like, that's it. That's what he does in the movie. And once you look at that, it's very flat. There's not actually a lot to him.
But does he not go, hey, Menelaus, oh, no, I think about my father. My father's probably dead. I have been convinced that I should go and sort out my own kingdom.
Yes.
It's up to me now, right? Like, he becomes a man. He goes, I should take ownership of my own kingdom.
It makes sense thematically, and it makes sense with the temporal choices that Nolan makes because he learns things that we then see happen. And we get experience, we get exposition that advances the story for us. But if you literally, and I know this is not a great way to critique a movie, but if you literally just take his scenes and put them together, by the time he was going back home, I was like, hasn't been a lot to this for him, has there?
It is funny that they try to then justify, and I know I'm going back on my earlier point, almost contradicting myself now, but they really don't give Tom that redeeming moment to be like, you definitely are the fit to be king, or people will respect you as king should you take the mantle. He never gets that moment of even fighting someone properly or stabbing someone or even just reasserting his dominance over these guys.
Yeah.
They just bitched him out the entire movie.
I thought it was a really strange moment to be so subversive by Nolan to not have him have the satisfying fight because he does beat Logan Marshall Green, but it doesn't feel that triumphant. It actually
also,
feels
it's not a win.
It's like just.
I have to-
and it's like, you just beat the servant boy? It's like, you didn't even fight Robert Pattinson.
I also think that from the moment that Odysseus shoots an arrow through Corey Hawkins' neck, fucking hilarious moment. You're Odysseus. Like, great, yeah. But pretty much from then on, I was like, here we go. And then Nolan was like, what if I strap the camera to Damon's back and he twirls around a lot? And that's what you see. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of a bummer. I don't think...
The fight Curry wasn't the best
there.
we've seen.
I didn't hate that. Let me try and justify that,
Go
then,
on.
if you don't mind. My take on that was, because again, I felt the same way, and Frank, what do I feel like I spoke to you? Oh, maybe you messaged in the group prior to us watching the Odyssey, but you said something about Damon getting ripped.
Oh, yeah, he's on HGH now.
Yeah, he's clearly gearing up for like a Bourne return, which has now been greenlit, I think.
Sure.
Or rumoured.
Yeah.
This to me did feel very Jason Bourne in this room, which at first was again quite jarring. I was like, oh no, they're not doing this, are they? But then what I liked about the close shot on Damon is again feeling that claustrophobia of this room. It's him versus all, right? In this moment. And he's in my mind, he's accepted his inevitable death in this room. He's going to do what he can, do the most amount of damage he can, and reassert that dominance and take back his home, or at least help his son as best he can and his wife. I think he accepted his death well and truly before he revealed himself.
Yeah.
And then
I agree with that.
The
But then-
claustrophobic shot, I like the scrappiness of it because at any moment you feel like someone's just going to come up and just give him the old knife in the back, and that's it. That's all it takes, and that's all it could have taken. He got lucky with a lot of it, and mostly people were just scared until they had access to weapons. Then they're like, now it's a free for all. You're in trouble now. I liked the close quarters aspect of it because it felt incomplete. It felt really like a plan that wasn't fully hatched.
Yeah, he just goes, I'll just fight them all. Like, that's the plan.
It was
that's
what Calypso said. It's you've got to show faith, lay down in the water and trust in the gods, and that's what he does in that room, right? And I really like that idea in theory. I think the conceit is there. I wasn't thrilled by the execution. I could feel again, not as badly as the scene with the giants in the island, but I could feel the movie going, this is it. And I was like, I wish I was more into this. Like, it's not grabbing.
It felt like 2 minutes too long for me.
Yeah,
just like
a little long.
Just have 10 less men in the room, or have more of them kneel down and be like, that's Odysseus, he's back. And be like,
my favourite shots were the punctuating shots because the first time someone knelt down, I was like, what was that? And by the third time, you're like, oh, they're starting to kneel for him. And I really liked that. I thought that was a cool idea.
I do want to talk about a few things before we get into like MVP and stuff, but I loved when Anne Hathaway's like, no, you can't die now. He's like, I'm not dying.
He just sits up like, what the fuck? No, I'm fine. Like, just pulls the arrows off.
He just wanted to lay down.
A little bit of comedy. I was like, okay, that's good. I said at the start that they all call Odysseus the smartest man alive, and he's so smart, and blah blah blah. Why in the world? Okay, I have two qualms about the fucking horse. Why do they not just bury it a little bit higher up on the beach? Less men would drown and fucking die in the war. That's horrible.
I love it.
No, it's so fucking disgusting.
I love that he's like, we may die doing this. I love the idea that on the second day they're all looking at him like, this better fucking work, dude, because this is getting annoying.
Well, it's every time he has a plan, it's not good.
The whole movie, everyone's like, this guy's an idiot. He's getting us cursed, yet he's the smartest man alive. So like, the actions don't line up with his men respect him so much for what? He invented the horse idea, but that killed 3 men, and they all got shit all over that. Like, they shed all over themselves.
Well, that's like the whole thing is about sacrifice, right? Like,
exactly. That's what I was going to say. Everything he does in the movie is like, I can do this, but it's going to cost. And the problem is that he realizes by the end that it's cost, no matter what he's given up, it has cost everyone else so much more. And that he has to let go of his own.
Every decision will cost lives no matter how he makes it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I wish there was maybe like, let's see 20 minutes somewhere of him being a fantastic general, a fantastic leader or whatever, because I was kind of like, everything he does, we're at this point, we're like, oh, he's kind of it's a bit
I would
sloppy.
argue
like,
there wasn't enough action scenes for me, honestly. I just wanted a little bit more wartime epic sort of big grand fight scenes, which we kind of got in Troy, but really it was just a wave of bodies just annihilating individuals as they went up the hillside.
Yeah.
See, I like the level of action. I like that it wasn't like, here's 4,000 people sweeping a wall and,
sure.
Nolan's not actually very
hold
good
on.
at that.
My second gripe is that horse getting dragged along the beach. Let's say there's 20 bodies in there. That's 1,600 kilos.
But a lot of them have shitted out, but I suppose the shit's still in there now. Go on.
Yeah, and they're probably malnourished from 10 years on the beach and not really eating well. So let's say, anyway. Yeah. And how much is the horse weigh? 2 ton? 3 ton?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 tons.
And you need 150 men, and some of the ropes are pulling at a 45-degree angle. This is so impractical. Like, it was just the stupidest thing. Get some logs under it on the beach to start with. It didn't make sense. How did they build that horse? How did they sculpt the perfect horse head? What tools did they have? It was just a bit like, perfect horse. I was like, you look stupid. How did you get there?
I feel like,
again, this is the start of the movie where
you're going to have issues with this movie, because if you have issues with the craftsmanship of the horse, once a big one-eyed man shows up, you're going to be like, well, those don't exist. They're not even real. It's like, well,
no.
But
because that's magic. That's a magic mythical beast. This is a sculpture. This is a sculpture.
Everything they do is magic. What are we doing here? Like, the whole world is governed
by...
I will disagree.
Their armor is historically inaccurate. Like, if
No. They're under Zeus's law, Frank. Heard of it?
It's not... Yeah, Zeus's law. Make me a perfect horse sculpture on the beach with no fucking tools.
Law 110.
Correct. Genesis.
Make me the perfect horse.
Zeus.
I know what you're saying, but on a certain level, I just end up going like, yeah, but I'm not going to quibble with the aspects of logistics because I think Nolan did a great enough job showing them pulling the horse, and I got I was like, wow, that looks like a motherfucker getting that horse in the city. Like, I got it.
To me, it looked like too much of a
and
motherfucker.
when we look at
and then
Troy,
how could they?
The actual movie, which I know we shouldn't be holding up against this, but when you go back and watch 2004 Troy, they just have wheels, and they're just kind of like, just two guys pulling the horse along, and it's like, well, that's fucking stupid, obviously. And the horse looks like shit, right? This horse looks cool. It looks like chocolate. It looks like it would be a hollow, nice little chocolate Easter egg that you get for an equine fucking aficionado.
And they do stand that up, and it goes boom.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I like that.
So look, I will.
But they stab it as well. I love that they stab. They're just like, just to check. Like, I do like that a lot. I think that's
I
great.
will say when they come out of the horse, they don't look like they've just been sitting on top of corpses and their own piss and shit for
It would have
however
been
long.
so funny for Matt Damon just
has
to
a little
fall
limp,
and land
a little limp.
and go, oh god.
He has a little
Like a leg
limp, like he's got a slight dead leg. Like
Yeah. No, because the
Slightly
last 20 minutes,
inconvenienced.
the last 20 minutes before they were getting the hatch out, they were like stretching and warming up. They're like, guys, this is it. Scrunch your toes. All right, should we quickly jump into MVP?
Sure.
Yeah, shit.
It's Robert Pattinson. Okay, anyone else? Anything?
I think
It's Robert
Pattinson's
Pattinson.
a
No,
really good
sorry,
shout.
it's a tough. Yeah, it's a tough cast.
I can tell you 100%
Matt
I
Damon's
was going to
bicep.
say this before I came in. And so, like, this didn't formulate as we talked about this. It's
Samantha Morton.
It's Zendaya.
No.
I don't think the movie works without Zendaya. I was shocked to find this. But when
The movie works without that entire...
I just don't
absolutely
think she gets
disagree.
enough screen time to justify that. You just can't.
She's the one who I think, Frank made this point excellently earlier.
Thank you.
Without only time I'll say that she has such a fucking command of the current zeitgeist that we all know Zendaya in the way where it's like we've complained for years that movie stars don't exist anymore, and now Zendaya and Tom Holland and Timothy Chalamet are movie stars. Like, they are legit. That's happening, right? And putting her in this role, having her be this kind of cryptically sort of like moralistic goddess that we're just constantly like, yeah, she's sort of guiding him, but I'm not sure why. And then at the end of the film going, she's haunting him. This young girl that he watched die in front of him is haunting him, and is his conscience enacting itself again and again. I was just like, the second it cut to the shot of her, like a single tear and reaching out for him, I was like, this shit is incredible. I can't
It's
believe
amazing. It's
how
a
well that
wonderful,
works.
wonderful, like a patient filmmaker going,
Yeah.
it's coming. It's coming.
Especially
You're not ready
because
yet.
we
You're not ready yet.
expect-
Again,
the
I don't
twist-
disagree with you.
Yeah.
I just think it's a.
But does that earn her
stretch.
MVP?
For
Yeah.
me, it does, because it was the one of the only moments in the whole film where I was like, "This is the power of cinema." Like, it's so fucking pretentious and ridiculous. But I'm
then
like,
I
I'm
feel
caught
your
up
MVPs
thematically here.
Your MVP is going to Chris Nolan then, because that's a Chris Nolan.
I
choice.
agree, but then we could almost say any time we pick an actor, we go, well, you have to actually give it to Chris Nolan because he directed the actor. It's like, well, okay, sure. He chose to cast her in that way and position it that way. Her presence is essential to the movie working for me. I would
Okay.
I would knock a full point off this movie if it weren't for Zendaya's character and Zendaya being used the way she is. I think it's so effective.
Marcus, your MVP?
Yeah, I'm struggling with this. I'm always invested in Rob Pat. I'm watching every mannerism, every choice, everything, every twitch, every move of his eyes, his mouth.
Yeah.
And he's doing a lot. He's doing a lot of
and
them.
he's doing a lot, and he's not doing too much either. Like, I just love. I don't know, man. This is the thing. I might have maybe just slightly rose tinted glasses when it comes to Rob Pat, but I think he's truly one of the most incredible actors we have working today.
He's doing
And he's
great.
just he's the guy who has that freedom now. Thanks to Twilight, he has so much freedom to go and do weird stuff. Same as Daniel Radcliffe. It's
And
like these guys
directors
went,
take him and trust him.
yeah,
They
because
just
he can
let
do
him
it.
Because he
See.
gave a great performance in Twilight, and they were like, well, what else can he do? You know, we all
What
agree.
can't he do?
I think
They're
he's
still trying
Because
to
he
find his
gave the
flaws.
only convincing performance in Twilight, maybe.
him
It's a
and
stretch.
Kay Stu gave the only good performances. I agree.
Anna Kendrick's great in those films. How dare
Actually,
you.
what's her name? Kay Stu's dad is really good in those movies. Doesn't matter. He's very Iago in this. Like, he's very much, you can
Yeah.
imagine them. If they do Othello one day, it'd be
From
like,
Aladdin.
yeah,
Oh.
that's what I meant. 100%. Robert Pattinson just doing the Gilbert Godfrey voice. I want to marry your mother.
Anne Hathaway, I'm gonna marry you.
This is the skin of a killer, Bella.
Thomas's microphone 1,000% peaked when he did that. I know it
Yes,
did.
well.
Yeah, but so did his life.
I think
when he
everything.
did that
But
accent.
yes, that was the climax.
The climax at IMAX.
Climax that I know.
Okay,
I'm
Thomas, do you have anything in the pantry? We haven't even done the pantry.
We can do the pantry. I've got a little one.
Go on. I know you do, but let's do the pantry.
My little penis.
Oh, yes.
Yes, little penis.
Please go.
No, it's
Please do it.
it's the Donald Trump dance.
Yes.
Don't do it. Don't
to
do it.
YMCA. Nothing sus. The thing that Nolan's doing here is the same thing that Spielberg, I'm going to sound a bit repetitive with what we talked about with Disclosure Day, but it's Nolan kind of being like, I'm at the point of my career where I'm constantly iterating on what I've already done. And I'm sort of continuing to give my thesis on film. It's why this is a story about a man desperately trying not to displease his wife and wanting to get back to her before anything happens, because the movies that he makes are always about, like, either my wife is dead and I can't let go of her memory, or I need to keep my wife alive, right? And I need to be with her. It's also stories. The thing at the end with Odysseus, Marcus, you said it reminded you of Bourne, but I was finally reminded in that moment, oh yeah, of course, fucking Nolan made Batman. Like, that's the most Batman scene in one of his movies in a long time, is Odysseus just taking on a room full of thugs and being like, I can't be stopped, I am justice,
It's Batman at Ra's al Ghul's palace and burning it down.
100%. Nolan is always making these films about people who are confronted with their limits and confronted with what they've done and trying to either overcome sort of like the trauma that they've inflicted upon themselves or upon others. And he's often making films about people coming together in very, very high extremity moments, whether it's something like Dunkirk, right? Whether it's something like Tenet or Interstellar, like where people are sort of crossing seemingly uncrossable boundaries to try and succeed in something that should be impossible. And I think it's just he's doing that in the way that Spielberg's doing what he's doing in a much later period of his life, what PTA is doing with One Battle After Another. Right, it's just people kind of being like, you guys know me well enough now. I've now become an accepted part of like the film elite school of I can win Oscars, but I can make crowd pleasers. And I work with big actors because I'm trying to tell on these huge canvases, these great overarching stories about human experience and about suffering and possibly about some optimism. I mean, it's an incredibly optimistic, some would say maybe soppy ending. Pretty much worked for me, but it walks right up to the boundary of, and then we will sail into the sun, and a new age will dawn. But I liked it.
It bugged me
a
bit.
It worked for me because I was like, how else can this movie end?
Well, that's it. I think what's the alternative otherwise?
It's the same. It's the same as Lord of the Rings, right? Of like Frodo going off into the Undying Lands. You're like, well, of course Samwise, of course he's marrying Rosie. They need these perfect endings because look what they just went through.
Yes, they've earned it.
Look what they've earned.
I think Odysseus and Penelope have that really quite touching scene at the beginning where she says we could run and we could chase the sunset, and I really love that it does come back to that and it becomes about that. And I think
Nolan does very good bookends as well.
He's really good at that. He's really good at that sort of summarizing montage. I felt the same way near the end of this movie that I felt at the end of Oppenheimer, with the atmosphere catching fire over the earth and the way that it keeps cutting just to shots of the ocean and them sailing out into the unknown. And I was like, I'm getting that tingly feeling like I've watched something grand and I've watched something meaningful. But you know what? It's too fucking woke. I hate this shit. Why are they black?
Well, I think before you make a before you make a shitty joke, I think we are very lucky to be like, and we say cinema's back as a stupid joke, but like Nolan is fighting and constantly reinvigorating cinema, and cinema is back when there's a movie like this that's out. And how lucky are we to have filmmakers and to have studios that will go, give him creative control, let him do it. He's gonna make $1 billion. That's fine because he's earned that, and he's gonna make a film that matters. And it's like telling the most like old school, the original story. He's telling the original story, right? It's like who else is going to tell that story? It's Christopher Nolan. He's the filmmaker of our generation. We're so lucky to live with his talent in our lives.
Yes.
I know that sounds so shit, but it's
Here's
like
what I
fuck.
would say with the likes of Curry Barker and Obsession, for example, and now Nolan and the Odyssey. There's moments in the film that we would have seen 1,000 times before in cinema. We've seen all the cliches, all the stereotypes. We know what to expect at times. And I'll use two examples here where Curry Barker in Obsession, uses and I've talked to Thomas about this off air, but like a device like a wishing willow or whatever it's called.
One Wish Willow, I think.
One Wish Willow. And it's like, it's a very 80s, a very camp concept of the mysterious item at the crazy store that no one goes to, and the one person buys this thing and uses it and everything unravels. You've got, Matt Damon and the whole scene with his bowstring and the sound and the bookending of him. Only he can make
He's
that
the
one
only
shot.
one who can
and
do
only
it, yeah.
he can string the bow. And
Great. Love that shit.
these things we've seen before, but the thing that these great directors, I think, can do is take a concept that we find to be very cliche and still make it engaging and still make it interesting. And that's why they are good at what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They elevate the tradition and they take it to a place where it's just like, well, that's the best version of it. So what are we going to do? Say it's not entertaining? Of course it is. You know?
No.
Yeah, and every story is iterative of every other story if you want to look at it like that.
Correct.
But it's like you can't not enjoy Matt Damon just yanking that bow over and crushing the shot that everyone else has tried. It's like Sword in the Stone, right? Which again is a classic. It's like there's only one person who can do it, and that's our guy, and that's the film we're watching, and that's it's so
Do you
good.
think in the scene with the sirens, because it's zooming in on him screaming furiously while he's hearing the song, do you think he's just like fucking cranking it out of frame? Like that's what's happening? He's just...
So is anyone going to throw in anything in?
You have
I think
to
they
talk
put
about...
Taylor Swift's most recent album on. I think he was really struggling. They just put headphones on and he had to
You
listen.
think that's when he
It's
started
not that
jacking it uncontrollably to Taylor Swift's music? Marcus, you have to talk about the dog.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I didn't want to let it go without you talking about the dog.
No. Well, one, we got the opening of the film. Leguizamo just fucking starts yeeting puppies off a cliff.
Yeah, fuck, I laughed so hard. I just like, this one's no good.
And then somehow shows compassion yet for animals and the like, and gets very upset throughout the film at any mistreatment of animals, and yet he's the one fucking like, check it out, and nope, snap, gone.
Yeah, it's a weird little...
I'm the only one allowed to kick the dogs around here.
I obviously knew. Now, I have not read the Odyssey before, right? But I know enough about the Odyssey to have known going into this that there was the story of the dog. I knew that the dog that he saved and grew up with and had this bond with, that he when he never returned, the dog stayed alive purely to see his owner one last time. And that fucking just kills me. Worse than anything else in this movie. I'm already tearing up. And then I saw the dog laying on that little heap of shit that they dumped him on, and I saw Damon turn up, and I'm like, this is it. This is the moment.
This is it.
And the dog doesn't lift its head. It doesn't move. All you get is the flick of its tail, and that's it.
They underplay what could be a very schmaltzy moment. And
they did it
do you know what I love about
well,
it?
and it killed
They
me.
did so well. It's so beautiful. Plus, they tied in with Tom Holland realizing, like being the audience in that moment.
It plot function, which I really enjoyed. That he's like, holy shit, that's my... I was like, oh, that's very clever. And I'm...
But they underplayed all of that.
Yes.
They didn't have a big like hug and daddy. Like it was because they didn't need to.
I think
that was
very thoughtful.
I'm really
storytelling.
glad we spoke about that.
I was
moment.
into it.
That's
Marcus, you and I
powerful.
talked about it earlier today, and I was like watching it. I was like, oh, it's the episode of Futurama with the dog. Like, and that's an episode of television that fucks me up a lot. I'm never someone who gets that caught up in animal stuff in movies. With exceptions, there are times that I have been, but in this, I remember getting to that, and I had like a single tear, and I just nodded, and I was like, yeah, that was really well done. That was great.
You a douchebag. All right, should we throw anything in?
I'm just gonna sit on an 8.8. I thought it was really, 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 really effective movie.
You know what? The more we've talked about it, and I don't care for its flaws, I've thoroughly enjoyed this movie. If it's a 3-hour movie and I genuinely feel like watching it again,
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way after Oppenheimer. I was like, I will watch this again. I don't want to do it immediately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to watch this again, and I'm going to give it a 9.8.
Nice.
Wow. Well, I'm coming up too, but I'm going to go from like I'm going to go to a. Here's the thing. I love the second half of the movie, and then I've listened and I've done research and I've heard about things, and I'm like, like my rant about Nolan, right? This is a special moment in film, and this is like, we're lucky to have it. So I'm going up to a 10. I know,
okay.
but like,
what are we?
look at what he's doing for the art of cinema.
This just
Look at
feels
what
like
he's
a
doing.
PR stunt at this point.
No, you
like,
Tom,
what are we
Tom,
doing?
shut up. Shut up.
What?
Tom, let
Tell
him
me I'm
have
wrong.
this.
Tell me
Let
I'm
him have
wrong.
this. No, he's not wrong.
Okay.
And Tom's staying on 8.8 because Tom never moves, because Tom never listens, and Tom doesn't care
You're
about
right. I'm
anyone's
going down
opinion.
8.7. I thought it was.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I thought it was a pretty effective.
Well, that was my
Holy
climax.
Heck.
Yeah.
I need to watch it again because I watched it in a little. I watched it in Gold Class in Hobart.
I saw it in
so-
IMAX at Carlton in Melbourne. It was really, really good. It was really effective.
Oh,
I got
really,
the
Tom?
first
Did
2
you really?
minutes of Dune Part 3 as a preview at the start. It was awesome. I had a really good time. Yeah.
Can't wait for Digger, by the way. Digger's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cinema's back.
Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah, baby. Thank you for listening to Throw on the Power. My name is Frank.
My name is Marcus.
My name's Tom.
And that was The Odyssey, directed by Christopher Nolan. God's gift to film and to us. So thank you for listening to Throw on the Power. Give us a like, a DM, subscribe here. We love you, etc. Thanks for listening.
Really appreciate it.
I'll see you later.
Oh. Good.